Okay, I'm with Jonathan, Drew Estate Cigars. Jonathan, my brother. It was really nice talking to you. Okay, and you know that you make some fantastic cigars, which you have that heaped upon you pretty consistently, I imagine, right?
Yeah, pretty good, man. It's a blessing that people like them, you know. So we get a lot of good results from the product, you know. We live it. We live there in Nicaragua. So
right.
It's a full-time gig for us.
Everything's made in Nicaragua?
Oh yeah, everything's made by hand, not just in Nicaragua. Everything is made by hand. We have 1,200 full-time employees, 240 part-time employees. It's a factory that we have no machines of any type, not even draw machines, which is rare, because draw machines is a machine that you use to make sure the draw is correct. And a lot of people say, you know, hey, how did you start Drew Estate? What's the fundamentals of Drew Estate? How'd you begin? We began with a perfect draw. We didn't begin, World Trade Center and, you know, a kiosk here and that. That's not the beginnings. The beginnings are on the fundamentals. And the fundamentals for us, one of the primary fundamentals was a perfect draw on a cigar.
Now, one of the ways that you affect that is all of your guys that are on the floor rolling these cigars for you on a day-to-day basis.
I like that hand trick with the thing.
Well, there you go. I like it, brother. Yeah, you gotta. Hey, we have to enjoy, right?
Creative, it's good.
Gotta enjoy.
So keep telling me.
So, I'd just like you to mention very quickly, one of the benefits, should I come to work for you, of course, should I have the blessing of being able to roll a cigar instead of just smoke one,
right.
One of the blessings that you give to your workers, your employees, one of their benefits, you might say,
yes,
is they can smoke all the cigars they want.
Pretty much. They can smoke everything except for the Ligas.
Well, we can mention that a little bit later. Yeah, you mentioned that there was a little issue with having to scale back consumption of the Ligas.
No, we allow them to smoke. You know, I always say smoke in moderation. 2 cigars a day is the maximum I recommend. But, you know, if guys want to smoke at the factory 2-3 sticks a day, we let them smoke whatever they want because, you know, they're smoking cigars and they're learning if the draw is right. They're learning if.
And that's the way for them to sample from what they're manufacturing.
Of course.
Okay,
absolutely.
very good.
You know, make sure the leaf's burning right. That's about it.
Very good. Now, so obviously you started with the kiosk in New York, World Trade Center. You've had
Why is that obvious?
Well, because we talked about it, and it's something that you mention almost every time. But before that, how long had you been a cigar smoker?
92. I started smoking after I worked for Alphonse D'Amato in Washington, D.C. I was a deputy political director for him in the campaign, so I started smoking with Alphonse. They used to call me Baby Alphonse, because I used to always have a stick around, you know, smoking, and I started with him. I started with good cigars. I didn't start with the, you know, mass market stuff and move up. I started with very good quality cigars, Cubans and Dominicans and stuff, and then I discovered Nicaragua. So when we started our business back in '95. You know, back then, Dominican cigars was the tits. You know what I'm saying? After that, Nicaragua started to emerge. So what happened was you had Dominican Republic 20 times the production that Nicaragua was, maybe more, maybe 50 times. And finally, this year will be the first year that Nicaragua surpasses Dominican Republic for production of cigars, of premium cigars, shipped into the United States.
And in part, that was because everybody and their mother's uncle was establishing a factory in the Dominican Republic.
It was a great place, and it still is, to make cigars, and it's a lot easier to operate in the Dominican Republic. So, you know, gringos from the U.S. and Europeans and stuff, they went to the Dominican Republic for ease of entry into the business. But, you know, that really wasn't where the most of the cigars came from. So the real bulk of the cigars was from the larger companies, Altadis, Consolidated at the time, General Cigar Company. These are the guys who are producing, you know, maybe they represent 30-something% each of the cigar industry, right? So if they're 60-something%, and they're based mostly there. So, you know, they do have operations in Honduras as well, but much smaller. Dominican Republic is a hub for mass market cigars at this point, and of course for premium cigars, but it's different now. Nicaragua, people like Nicaraguan tobacco now because the market has changed from mild to medium body.
Now, were you one of the first, what you might say, young venturers of handmade cigars to establish business in Nicaragua?
No, I wasn't one of the first. I was the first.
That's what I was going to follow up with.
Right.
And what kind of a challenge did you have to overcome with that?
We overcame every challenge.
Give me a snapshot.
I came to Nicaragua. I didn't speak enough Spanish. Okay. And I didn't understand Spanish culture that well. I liked it, but I didn't really understand it the way I do now. Obviously,
The nuances. You didn't
all
really
of the
understand
beautiful things about it. I didn't realize there was so much more than tobacco that I love in Nicaragua. And I also had no money. You know, we started off from humble beginnings, which is a way, you know, most guys start their businesses. You start from scratch, nothing new. And I knew very little about premium cigar manufacturing. I had a good palate, and you know, I knew how to sell cigars. I had a good eye for marketing and stuff like that. But in terms of really being able to produce a high quality premium cigar that drew perfect every time, I had a lot to learn. So I got blessed by getting to, you know, have some good mentors teach me how to make tobacco.
Now, what year was this?
This was 1998.
98.
I had been going to Nicaragua with Nick Perdomo since 1996. After his father established the first factory in Nicaragua for Perdomo cigars, because they were based on 7111 Flagler, they used to make my La Vieja Habana. Then when they moved to Nicaragua, it was the father who set up the facility, Nick Sr. So every single trip that Nick Jr. took to Nicaragua, I took with him from 96, 97, 98. Finally, 98.
So you were cutting your teeth as early as that?
Yeah, I started cutting the teeth in 96, 4, 5, 6 times a year. By 97, I was in Nicaragua like 7 or 8 times already. I was sleeping on Mike Argeni's floor, vice president of Nick Cigar Company, for 3-4 months at a time so I could be as close to Nicaragua as possible. And then in 98, I moved to Nicaragua, and I opened my own small facility there. Started out like that.
About how many acres did you start with?
I don't have any acres at this point at all. We're not farmers. Drew Estate, you see a lot of cigar makers lie and they tell you all sorts of shit. You know, that they do this and that in farms and factories and stuff. That's not our operation right now. We're a cigar manufacturing operation.
Do you have any curing barns? Or?
Oh yeah. Okay. So what we do is we do co-ops with farmers. You understand me? What we do is we make, and I don't mean to say lie, I mean exaggerate. Some other people might exaggerate.
Stretch the truth a little bit to enhance things.
We all say things that afterwards we might regret, but what I can tell you is that, you know, Drew Estate don't need to make up all sorts of stories about owning farms. What we do is we co-op. We're the largest importer of tobacco leaf into Nicaragua. That's a fact. We make a lot of cigars in Nicaragua, almost 80,000 long filler cigars a day. Okay, no machines, no stripping machines, no Lieberman machines, no machines, straw testing machines of any kind, everything by hand. 100% by hand. 3 different styles at the factory. You know, we do an accordion style, we do an entubano, and then we do a escojado. 3 different types of bunching tobacco. So, you know, we learned tobacco the hard way, and, you know, I live at the factory since 1998. So
You've lived there almost full time. Well, when you're in Nicaragua, since 1998.
I live in Nicaragua full time since 1998. I'm in the States 5 days a month. This period right now, this last 2 months, September and October for me, those are the periods for me where I spend as much time in the States, get all my stuff done. Those 2 months, you see me a lot moving around September and October. But truth be told is that I'm in Nicaragua from October to the end of April. This year is a little different because we had the political election down there right now. Oh, it just happened on Sunday. Right. Okay. So I shoot out to Nicaragua, you know, next week.
Did your preferred man win?
Huh?
Did your preferred man win?
Did I prefer man? My guy won?
Yeah.
Yeah, my guy won every time.
Who is he?
Both of them.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay.
Both of them every time, so I'm always a winner. If it's Gade, I'm a winner. If it's Ortega, I'm a winner. Because I'm not a political person, you know what I'm saying? I'm a cigar manufacturer, so I don't go into the political side of things. I make sure that my cigars, that my tobacco tastes good, and my employees are taken care of.
Excellent.
I'm a paternalistic style guy, a factory guy. You know what I mean? Guys who care about their employees. People in Esteli, I walk down the street and people know who I am because people smile at you and give you a high five or give you a pound because they respect you. That for me, that's what I like more than anything else.
If you're taking care of your employees, that would generate a lot of that.
They take care of me too. You know, it's a nice thing. I always say we have Nestor Plasencia, Joya de Nicaragua, Padron, Drew Estate. These are companies who are very paternalistic with their employees. We do a lot medical insurance for them. We do English classes for them. We train bancheros. We train rollers. These are, and other factories too, but just to mention a couple, you know.
Have you found any generational transition? In other words, children of maybe some of your early rollers that might be coming on board?
Oh yeah, we have some. But I see it more at Padron and Joya de Nicaragua because those factories, you know, the people don't leave those 2 factories.
And they've been around a little longer.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is you'll see a lot of moms who work there in either the packaging department or a bunch of roleras, and then you'll see their kids coming in later on like that. But remember, there's a lot of opportunity in Nicaragua right now. There's a lot of opportunity in Esteli especially. So what's happening is a lot of these kids who are coming up, they're getting to go to college and they're getting to learn the computers and getting to learn tourism and this and that. So in Nicaragua, you have right now a lot of those kids are getting great opportunities to go and do stuff. So, you know, there's new people always because people need jobs, and Nicaraguans are hard workers. You know, Nicaraguans are beautiful people. They love Americans. They love Canadians and European people. They love anybody who's different and new, you know. So they're always, you know, it's good people over there, man.
Yeah,
you know?
they're not
They're not anti-anything.
North Americans.
No,
so
God,
that's
no.
good.
No,
And that's good. And that's one reason why I'm going to look forward to coming down to visit.
Oh, you're going to love it, man. You're going to love that's right, www.cigarsafari.com.
There you go.
Make sure you come over there. You can check out the website and understand what we do. This is actually a new website. So if you've been to cigarsafari.com before, go check it out now, because last week we put up the new one. And we have the tour packages. We got a few spots left. There's 2 spots left on 4 trips. So if you see this video, you know, come over there. You can come to www.drewestate.com.
Now, Cigar Safari also allows for, you have accommodations there to stay.
Woo!
And,
it's like being in a vineyard in California. It's 14 cabanas. Well, there's 11 cabanas, 14 rooms. There's 14 bathrooms, all flat screen TVs, cable, air conditioning, big club rooms. But, you know, we're always moving around. Cigar Safari.
Tour of the property.
3 nights, 4 days. And we don't stop the whole time, but you come back feeling relaxed because you're there, you're smoking cigars, you're talking with your friends, you're making new friends, you're relaxing. It's 35-40% tourism, Nicaraguan tourism, and the rest of it is cigar tourism. So you get an education about tobacco. You come back as a cigar master. You could open your own factory or whatever.
As if you would recommend that, right?
No, I don't. You know, tobacco's a cash-intensive business.
And it's also a labor of love, wouldn't you say?
It's a labor of love. I mean, you know, it's a beautiful business. It's not something I don't recommend doing. It's just something that, you know, you can't do it part-time unless if you want to own a store or something, you could do it kind of part-time. But even then, it's tricky. You know, it's like anything else in life. If you want to be the best at something, it's not meaning that you're going to be better than Padron, because you're not. Or you want to be better than Hoya de Nicaragua. You're not going to be that. But if you want to be the best that you can be at anything, you have to immerse yourself in it. And, you know, tobacco is just like that. You have to immerse yourself in that tobacco to understand that tobacco.
It's like a winery or a brewery or anything else.
Every year it's changing. The tobacco's changing. You get a cloud base that's different. You get irrigation issues. You get issues of seeds. You get issues of blue mold. You get issues of how to deal with different issues at the factory. You know, so it's constant evolution.
And those are just the constant challenges that you have to overcome.
Yeah, it's constant challenges.
Right, and we discussed a lot of those challenges that you've overcome when we were off camera, so to speak.
That's right, man.
But listen, brother, so that's a good introduction, a nice snapshot of how you started the company, and kind of almost to pretty much where you are now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you could go from, you know, light speed from 0 to 60. I mean, that's the basic rundown. You know, our brands are Acid Cigars, Liga Privada, Natural by Drew Estate, Ambrosia. We make the Java for Rocky completely. We ship it to him packaged and ready to go to his customers. The Tobacco Especial, coffee-infused cigars. We make the La Via Habana, which is an economy smoke. Good quality stick for an inexpensive price. We make some cigars for this guy and that guy. But mostly we make, you know, all the stuff is for us, except for the Java. And
now that's one of the other aspects about the cigar industry, from the manufacturer's aspect, especially making premium cigars. You have a very good rapport with, as an example, Rocky Patel. You have a good relationship with him.
I'm friendly with everybody.
All of you guys, for the most part, get along very well, even though technically you could be considered competitors.
Yeah, we compete.
But you assist each other, you help each other in times of need and trouble, problems, that you actually help each other overcome a number of problems.
You learn a lot about, when you're in the tobacco business, you learn a lot about tradition. So even though you get a company like Drew Estate who broke all the traditions, who broke everything, we changed it all up. We made mistakes and stuff like that too, and you know we went through our learning curve. But one thing a couple things that you can't forget: integrity, honor, and loyalty. These are the things that you learn being in the cigar business. You're going to learn it one way, or you're going to learn it the other way. That's the bottom line.
And that's the bottom line. We're going to cut for right now, okay, brother?
All right.